Welcome to StuckInThe90s.webs.com, the totally unscripted retro review show. I'm your host, SpinTheDemon. Today we take a look at some of the scariest Nintendo games of all time. This is A Nightmare on Elm Street. This is Friday the 13th for the best bad horror game on the NES. Let's start off with A Nightmare on Elm Street. You start out as a teenager. When I first started playing this game, I did have to use the Game Genie for up continues, but after playing it, if you're going to try to beat it, you'll get better at the game and you won't need any extra continues. You start getting pretty badass. It says hold instead of pause. That's kind of unique. The object of the game is to collect Freddy's bones so you can lay him to rest. The very first level shows an arrow, so you know you have to go down there. After that, it doesn't show the arrow anymore. If this game resembles any of the movies, it's Nightmare on Elm Street 3, because you can pick up Dream Warrior abilities. You're trying to lay Freddy to rest. Some of his forms are forms from the movie Nightmare on Elm Street 3. Let's speed up the clock a little bit. I want to show you what happens when you fall asleep. Right up left is your Z's gauge, and if you don't collect coffee or anything, you'll fall asleep. You'll get good at the game and hardly ever fall asleep, but a couple things are going to happen when you do go into the dream world. You can use your Dream Warrior abilities that you've picked up along the way by pressing select, and the second thing that can happen to you is Freddy can come and get you. As soon as you hear the music, he's on his way. Hit select to use your Dream Warrior abilities. The first one you get is kind of like the jock power. You can learn his pattern, but all this fight really accomplishes is wasting your time, your life. I mean, maybe you get some points, but that's about it. And it usually puts you in a place that you're going to die right off. You start off with one house on the block unlocked. After that, you're going to have to face Freddy at the end of each level to get to the next houses and progress on to the game. Through the game. The fire form of Freddy, the first one is just his glove coming at you. If you use your Dream Warrior abilities, actually, he's quite easy to take down. When I first started playing this game, I knew nothing about the Dream Warrior abilities, and I just punched him out. So after you beat him, you're gonna get a lot of points. That's good. You're gonna get an extra life. That's good. But most important, you're gonna get a key. And this key is going to help you unlock the different houses on the block. Now, there's no rhyme or reason to this. Doors that are open aren't doors that you've been to. You're just going to have to randomly run around. I suggest starting at the very first house and making your way back so you don't have to do any sort of backtracking. It's hit and miss, but when you get it, you run up. You go on to a new level. I do like this music quite a bit in this game, but I found out doing some research, it's recycled LJN, it's their recycled music from other NES titles. So, Freddy comes in all shapes, forms, and varieties in this game. You're gonna fight as Claw. You're gonna fight him as a bat. You're gonna fight Ghost Freddy. You're even going to fight the Worm Freddy from Nightmare 3 that spits out demon tongues or whatever. I won't ruin the final forms of Freddy. I don't want to ruin the end of it. But it's like the longest block in history, right? There's Elm Street, Nancy's old place, a bunch of mansions, Elm Street Cemetery, and a junkyard. All on the same street. Let's check out the junkyard. It's one of my favorite levels. I love the look, I love the music, and considering the age and whatnot, this is definitely not the worst looking NES game I've played. Or the worst game I've played. You collect coffee to stay awake. One of the other levels I really enjoy in this game that I'll show you here up in a second is the cemetery. This just adds some challenge to it, and after you've played this game as much as I have, challenging levels are key to keep you playing. Well, when you die and get a game over, you have to start all over again. So this is the perfect opportunity to check out some Friday the 13th gameplay. Friday the 13th. Let's reset. You start off with some very promising visuals. A little scare, and then some creepy music. really smooth transition from the copyright information to the gameplay. It's really nice. So you start out with George, Mark, Paul, Laura, Debbie, or Chrissy. I like Chrissy, she's one of my favorite characters. It says use the torch to light the fire. You don't use a lighter. You can use the torch, you find that in the game, and it takes 1 hit point off Jason every time you hit him, so that's good. You want to get a knife right away, because the stone's nothing. When the alarm goes off, check on your kiddos. I'm not going to sugarcoat this at all. This game is hard. You're going to find yourself roaming around the lakes, getting attacked by mutant zombies. You're going to find yourself trying to beat the clock to get things accomplished. You're going to be looking for clues, starting fires, roaming caves. Poor controls are going to have you falling into holes. You're going to be checking the map constantly. Then you're going to have to check it again because the controls are inverted and you're going the wrong way. You're going to have to fight Jason all the time. It never stops with this guy. You're going to get lost in all kinds of cabins, again, all the time. You're going to have to help your co-counselors out by fighting Jason. You're going to be getting terrified by Jason alone in the dark, which is kind of cool. Now, I was hoping that this game was kind of like the Commodore 64 version. I remember watching my friend play that one. And it was a lot more gory. Only if we could hyperfuse the two and have the music from this Friday the 13th with that gameplay. We can. With all these things said, I can't say that this is a bad horror game. After doing my research, I found that many people enjoy it. People on YouTube, people on the forums, they love the game. So maybe I just don't understand the game. Maybe this is one of the most misunderstood games of all time. And I don't want to persuade you to not play it, I want you to check it out. It might be the game that you're looking for. I had a hard time with this one, guys, and I wanted to beat it so bad for you. I'll show you some clips like Jason's mom said. I've seen it done, but I just couldn't do it. So after all this, what's the best bad horror game on the NES? Well, I don't know what the best bad one is, but I still know what the worst one is. Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. Until next time, we'll see you in the later at stuckinthe90s.webs.com. Happy Halloween.